Business is your own. The constant struggle is over. Now there's a better way. It's HDIS. We home deliver bladder control products. We understand how you feel. For over 25 years, we've home delivered to many of the 20 million Americans who deal with incontinence. We offer all brands. We pay shipping and use plain, unmarked boxes. If we can help you or someone you care for, call for your free product sample pack and $45 in money-saving coupons. Our counselors will help you choose the right product. And unlike stores, we're always in stock. You'll get what you need. Satisfaction guaranteed. HDIS, the better way.
For your free sample pack with your free catalog, $45 in money-saving coupons, and free product samples, call 1-800-905-9814. That's 1-800-905-9814.
Attention! If you've had a hernia surgery after 2006 and suffered from serious side effects such as infection, chronic pain, organ damage, mesh shrinkage, or mesh migration, you could be eligible for financial compensation. Call the law offices of Wright & Schulte right now at the number on your screen. Ethicon, a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson, has withdrawn its PhysioMesh flexible composite mesh from the market. Call the law offices of Wright & Schulte immediately at the number on your screen or visit meshjustice.com now.
Good evening and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. We're going to start tonight with a story that is a clear case of simply right and wrong, of facts and lies. Donald Trump is wrong, period, and stop. He's lying as he continues to say the election was stolen from him. We all know this, or at least we all should. More than 50 judges, many of them, by the way, appointed by Trump himself, they dismissed election cases or ruled against them. Trump's own Attorney General, Bill Barr, said that there was no fraud that impacted the results. Several states already did recounts that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Biden won them fair and square. All that is fact. However, Trump continues to spread the big lie. He is wrong. Lynn Cheney is right. It's not my opinion. Again, this is fact. The number 3 ranking House Republican, Ms. Cheney, is now likely to be getting ousted from her leadership position. And it has nothing to do with scandal, nothing to do with bringing shame to the party, far from it. Cheney is about to be removed simply because she has chosen to tell the truth about the election. Here with all the sordid details, and that is the best way to describe him, is Andrew Whitman, our senior political correspondent. And amazing. I mean, I know a lot of things you can say amazing for the last 4 years, but how we've gotten to this point on something so black and white about fact and fiction, even I, who shouldn't be surprised anymore, am still shocked at the state of the GOP.
And as I found as I was researching this story, there is so much evidence to go through, Rich. There is a ton to unpack in this slow-rolling GOP soap opera. But as Rich said, it appears as though Wyoming Congresswoman and GOP House Conference Leader Liz Cheney is going to lose her slot in leadership. A vote could come as soon as next week. Cheney, the daughter of the former vice president, is as conservative as anyone in Congress, and more so than a lot of others in her party. But being conservative, apparently not enough in the Republican Party of Donald Trump. House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy hammered the first nail in her leadership coffin yesterday on Fox News.
I have heard from members concerned about her ability to carry out the job as conference chair, to carry out the message. We all need to be working as one if we're able to win the majority. It's more concerned about the job ability to do and what's our best step forward, that we can all work together instead of attacking one another.
And he went even further on a hot mic that we now have the audio of.
I think she's got real problems. I've had it with it. It's, I've lost confidence. Well, someone just has to bring emotion, but I assume that will probably take place.
And then this final nail this morning from the number 2 House Republican Steve Scalise. He did not mention Cheney by name, but he endorsed someone else for her job, which frankly is the same thing. Scalise named New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik as the person he wants in Cheney's job, but make no mistake who's really calling this play. It's Donald Trump. He issued a statement today, and in it, he gives away the game. This isn't about the party or the House or the midterms or anything else. It's about fealty to Donald Trump. He starts with a typical Trump insult, but then, quote, "We want leaders who believe in the Make America Great Again movement and prioritize the values of America first." Now, that's all shorthand for people loyal to him, willing to lie for him, even about an insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. As we all learned from January 2017 until this January, facts are like kryptonite to the former president. So let's go through some facts. Check my work if you like. You can find the evidence everywhere. Fact number one, Donald Trump undermined confidence in the election for months, lied about election fraud, which he's never been able to prove, and he keeps on lying about it.
They rigged an election. They rigged it like they've never rigged an election before. That's what they've done and what they're doing.
I wouldn't be surprised if they found thousands and thousands and thousands of votes. So we're going to watch that very closely.
And we know the impacts that Trump's lies have had. Anywhere between 2/3 and 90% of Republicans that now don't believe Joe Biden was fairly elected. And this. Donald Trump's words led directly to the Capitol riot, and the rioters wanted Congress to overturn the election and keep Donald Trump in power. What's that you say? You don't believe your own eyes? You think all those rioters trashing the Capitol was a coincidence or just a few bad actors? Don't take it from me, take it from Kevin McCarthy, the man now seeking to oust Liz Cheney. Here he is 2 days after the riot.
The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters. He should have immediately denounced the mob when he saw what was unfolding. These facts require immediate action by President Trump. Accept his share of responsibility, quell the brewing unrest, and ensure President-elect Biden is able to successfully begin his term. And the president's immediate action also deserves congressional action, which is why I think a fact-finding commission and a censure resolution would be prudent.
Back in January, McCarthy wanted a commission and he wanted to censure Trump. His counterpart in the Senate directly called Trump a liar.
The mob was fed lies. They were provoked by the president and other powerful people.
So if, as McConnell and McCarthy said in January, Trump and his lies were directly responsible for the riot, what has Liz Cheney been saying about it? Well, she's been telling the truth continually. And it began the night of the riot itself on January 6th.
We just had a violent mob assault the U.S. Capitol in an attempt to prevent us from carrying out our constitutional duty. And there's no question that the president formed the mob, the president incited the mob, the president addressed the mob, he lit the flame. This is what America is not.
Early February, Cheney goes on Fox News Sunday and unleashes a devastating attack on Trump. It is as direct a rebuke of him as anyone has mounted.
People have been lied to. The extent to which President Trump, for months leading up to January 6th, spread the notion that the election had been stolen or that the election was rigged was a lie. We will not forget what happened on January 6th, and that the single greatest threat to our republic is a president who would put his own self-interest above the Constitution, above the national interest. You know, we've had a situation where President Trump claimed for months that the election was stolen and then apparently set about to do everything he could to steal it himself. And that ended up in an attack on the Capitol. 5 people killed that day. That's the kind of attack that can never happen again.
About 3 weeks later, Cheney broke with McCarthy, who at this point was again courting Trump's involvement, in an awkward press conference.
I've been clear in my views about President Trump and the extent to which following January 6th, I don't believe that he should be playing a role in the future of the party or the country.
And in the months since the riot, Cheney has been one of the few Republicans to call for a commission to investigate it without watering it down by also looking at violence in protests for social justice last summer. She's also open to the Justice Department bringing Trump up on criminal charges if, she says, that's where the evidence takes them. And she's continued to tell the truth, again calling out Trump's big lie last weekend and this week as well. Fact check number 3, the GOP is willing to fire Cheney for telling the truth and refusing to put Trump above party. But they've not done a thing to Matt Gaetz, credibly accused in a sex trafficking plot and allegations he had sex with a 17-year-old girl, or Marjorie Taylor Greene and her QAnon-laden bag of lies and violent past statements. Only 11 Republicans voted to strip her from her House committees. Liz Cheney was not one of them. Nor have they acted against Andy Biggs or Paul Gosar, House GOP members who reportedly helped plan or work with riot leaders. They're not even being investigated. So the House GOP will axe the legitimately conservative Cheney from leadership and is expected to replace her with Elise Stefanik. Now, if you've been following Washington for the past few years, you probably think you know Stefanik. She's a conservative who's become a Trump lackey, cheerleader, and apologist, right? Not exactly. Back in 2014, Stefanik became the youngest woman ever elected to Congress at the age of 30. Back then, she was a self-described millennial who called herself a candidate of, quote, new ideas and a new generation of leadership in Washington. And as The Atlantic reports, she wasn't big on Trump after he was elected either. Quote, she kept her distance politically and otherwise from Trump for most of the first 2 years of his term. Stefanik had backed then Ohio Governor John Kasich in the 2016 GOP primary, and in 2018 she voted against Trump's signature tax cut bill, saying it would raise taxes for some of her constituents. That same piece called her, quote, an avatar of the old GOP establishment, Harvard-educated staffer in George W. Bush's White House, and a campaign aide to Paul Ryan. This piece came out in 2020, and if we expand this quote, we see it was all a calculated plan by Stefanik, a run to Trump populism to help her own career. Here's the full quote. A year ago, in 2019, Stefanik became one of the last in a long line of elected Republicans to transform herself from an avatar of the old GOP establishment, Harvard-educated staffer in George W. Bush's White House, campaign aide to Paul Ryan, into a vocal Trump loyalist. And from there, she was off to the races, becoming a vocal antagonist of Adam Schiff and other Democrats during the first impeachment hearings, which helped make her a star on Fox News and a favorite of Donald Trump, a calculated transformation aimed at making her a household name among Republicans. And all it cost was her unwavering fealty to Donald Trump. Rich?
You hit all the high notes or low notes, depending on how you want to look at it, but Liz Cheney today is a hard right conservative Republican who in no way has anything to do with any moderate inclinations whatsoever. Period. Liz Cheney has probably the most direct bloodline to the Reagan-era Republican, with maybe a little bit less compassionate conservatism. The idea that Liz Cheney doesn't pass the litmus test to be a Trump acolyte is beyond bizarre. This is not about, well, the moderates don't have a place in the modern day Republican Party. This is just a culture of, name your bizarre cult, but we've gotten to that point, Andrew.
Think of the major issues that Congress is going to face and has faced in the last 6 months, or is going to face in the future. Liz Cheney is not on the same page with Democrats on any of them except one. It's that Donald Trump cannot have a place in the Republican Party or in the government of the United States ever again.
Because he did send people to kill his vice president and get other lawmakers.
But that's the one place where she agrees with Democrats, and apparently that's all it takes in the modern Republican Party to be excommunicated.
Okay, now let's talk about the people who, to me, are the worst of the worst. And they're not, by the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is legitimately insane. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene is off. She really believes in QAnon.
She does.
I look at Kevin McCarthy, and you played the soundbite. Let's remind people what happened on January 6th, not the riots, which everybody remembers. On January 6th, he got on the phone as they were hiding in a cloakroom or whatever, and he called the president and say, stop these lunatics, send in the cavalry. He said this, by the way, and had this conversation with other Republican elected officials present. One such conservative Republican from California, a congresswoman, was there for an ear witness to the whole exchange. And F-bombs were being dropped here like salvos. And apparently Trump said, and McCarthy has not denied this, well, maybe, Congressman, if you wanted me, if you cared as much as other people did about the election, we wouldn't have this problem. To which McCarthy dropped F-bombs right back at the president. He hasn't denied any of this. We then fast forward to later on in the evening with the clip we just saw. He wanted to not only blame the president for the events of that evening, he wanted to censure him for it. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Scaredy Pants sees that some people are upset because he said something bad about the Donald El Jefe, and he ran down to Mar-a-Lago to make sure the cameras were there present as he basically begged for forgiveness for the Donald for almost having him killed. So he, to me, is chief coward. The next one is Elise Stefanik. The idea that she would work in the Bush White House, then work for Paul Ryan, stay away from Trump like he's the plague, and go for John Kasich, whose principal election platform was that Donald Trump would destroy this country, and he was the worst thing going. For that opportunistic, phony, unprincipled congresswoman to now actively try to leap on the corpse of Liz Cheney to get her job at all costs, shame on her, because like McCarthy and like some of the others, they know better and they don't care.
I think you said the magic word, opportunistic. I think that explains both McCarthy and Stefanik in all of this. McCarthy, I saw a former House member commenting online, and he basically said, all Kevin McCarthy wants is the speaker's gavel. He doesn't care how he gets there. He doesn't care what happens to make it happen. He just wants the gavel. He wants to be the Speaker of the House. He's done the calculation in his mind. He thinks there's a path to it if he embraces Donald Trump, and I guess he assumes that there's no path to it if he doesn't embrace Donald Trump.
Andrew. But here's my only point, and this has nothing to do with my holier than thou or wanting for the Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. We've always wondered, what is the real danger of the last 4 years of Trump? Forget about policies, forget about all the rest. But the idea that alternate truths can exist and that you get to make up your own set of facts, you can push conspiracy theories. Well, in the last year of his presidency, we learned that he knew about the dangers of a pandemic that would kill more than 500,000 Americans and counting. And he lied to all of us and did no work like any other person who would run literally a city council would do to try and protect their constituents. We saw the consequence of not only incompetency, but untruthfulness. We then learned that if you gin up a mob and lie to them about an election just to preserve power, people can get killed and a democracy can be threatened. So if you're Kevin McCarthy and the only thing you care about is to try to get the gavel back, at least, we see McConnell saying, that's a bridge too far for me. I'm off the Trump train. I'll at least say, I didn't have the courage to, impeach him, but I'll at least say, blood is on that man's hands and no more. And at least he stayed there. Has he defended Cheney publicly? No, of course not. That would show a spine. But nonetheless, he at least had a line. I don't know McCarthy has any line. What if Trump comes out tomorrow and then says that, he wants to attack a particular ethnicity and cleanse them? I'm not even joking. Would McCarthy find that to be a line? He's already said he doesn't want to respect the Constitution about a transfer of power. What more is there? And I'm not trying to traffic in hyperbole, Andrew, because it's good TV. I don't know anymore if there's a line.
I'm not sure either. And McCarthy, in a way, is juggling hand grenades with the American democracy, because let me give you one more thing to be worried about. Let's say Kevin McCarthy has the speaker's gavel after the elections of 2022 when they're processing the 2024 election results. We just saw everything that this party was willing to do to force Donald Trump back into power after the 2020 election. Do you really think they wouldn't go through the exact same motion again in 2024? And if he's got the gavel, that means he's got the votes to override that election. And I feel
for the audience because we're all exhausted. We thought we'd take a respite after the election, and we haven't as a country been given that grace, especially going through COVID. I want to play a soundbite. This is from President Biden today. Now, again, you say, oh, he's a Democrat, but listen to the words, and then I want to talk with Andrew real briefly about what they mean for the Republican Party.
It seems as though the Republican Party is trying to identify what it stands for. And they're in the midst of significant sort of mini revolution going on in the Republican Party. I've been a Democrat for a long time. We've gone through periods where we've had internal fights and disagreements. I don't ever remember any like this. And so, as one of you said, and I'm not embarrassed by identifying them, as one of you said on national television last night, we badly need a Republican Party. We need a two-party system.
The only part I disagree with, Vin, he believes there's a revolution within the Republican Party. The fight's been waged, it's over. And the amount of patriots that are willing to stand with the Liz Cheneys of the world here, or the Mitt Romneys to say this is not who we are, they've either capitulated or they've gone silent, Andrew. The fight's been waged and it's been lost, and the party and the country is the loser for it.
I'm inclined to agree with you, unless.
What more possibly would it take?
Unless something happens to Donald Trump, unless he's brought up on criminal charges, unless he is, found guilty of these personal violations. I mean, who knows? Unless he says something that's so far beyond the pale, I can't even imagine what that would be, considering everything we've heard from him so far. I don't know. But if Trump, it's all resting on Trump.
We had Access Hollywood, we had Charlottesville, we had January 6th, and many things in between. If they haven't found a line yet, I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for it. Andrew, thank you. We come back. Facebook versus Donald Trump. The social media giant's ban of Trump still in force. The company, they're going to revisit this issue, though, within 6 months. We're going to be spending the next couple of segments looking at this story from 7 different angles, including free speech, the politics involved, and so much more.
Help. When you fall and can't get help,
Help.
You will lie on the floor for hours or days in constant, terrible anguish, which often results in a tragic outcome. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
With any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether at home,
I've fallen and I can't get up.
in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower.
or on the go.
Help! I'm in the park and I can't get up.
And batteries never need charging. Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-215-6582. That's 1-800-215-6582. Call now. 1-800-215-6582.
Shake your legs, shake your abs, shake your butt, shake up your entire body to a slim, firm, and sexy new you with PowerFit Elite, the breakthrough multi-directional vibration platform that helps engage all your muscles from the moment you step on it. PowerFit uses multi-directional vibration to create muscle confusion and rapidly contract and relax your muscles to help you get fit and stay fit.
It's intense. You really feel your whole body working.
You could be watching TV, but you do feel the workout.
It works you out where you don't feel like you're working out. It's actually a lot of fun.
Each traditional exercise that you do on PowerFit Elite can help sculpt, transform, and redefine your body from head to toe. The secret is the multi-directional vibration technology that causes muscle confusion and forces them to contract and counter-challenge you. Your muscles work hard so you can stabilize and maintain your balance. There are 3 standing positions: walking, jogging, and then running. Plus, there are 3 different program levels for workouts to choose from, so you can really customize your workout. PowerFit Elite can help improve your energy, burn calories, tone your body, define your abs, work your arms, strengthen your legs, boost your buttocks, and so much more. And for an even more intense workout, add resistance bands for bicep curls, forward lateral raises, and crisscross pulls. It's time to join the new fitness revolution that's shaking up the world. Call or go online now and you can try PowerFit Elite in your home for 30 days for only $14.95. But wait, order right now and we'll upgrade you to the deluxe set that includes the complete workout guide, the power bands, and the handy remote control. That's an over $80 value free. Try PowerFit Elite in your home for 30 days. And if it's not the best workout system you've used, just return it for a refund of your trial price. But hold everything, we'll also add our healthy eating plan to help you achieve your best possible results free. Try PowerFit Elite in your home for 30 days for only $14.95 and experience the power of extreme vibration. Order now.
The day after the Capitol riot, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, they all blocked Donald Trump from their platforms. They said he was inciting violence. Our president, think about this, and he had to go. Twitter says the ban is permanent. Facebook, though, they appointed a 20-member advisory board to investigate. That board announced just this morning that the ban will remain for another 6 months. Then the company will have to make the ultimate decision. I'm going to read in part here a portion of the statement. Quote, the board found that in maintaining an unfounded narrative of electoral fraud and persistent calls to action, Mr. Trump created an environment where a serious risk of violence was possible. Trump, he immediately released a statement, and I quote, what Facebook, Twitter, and Google have done is a total disgrace and embarrassment to our country. Free speech has been taken away from the President of the United States because the radical left lunatics are afraid of the truth. These corrupt social media companies must pay a political price and must never again be allowed to destroy and decimate our electoral process. Wow. Anyway, many Republicans, especially Trump supporters, they're upset with Facebook's call today. Kevin McCarthy, newfound BFF of Trump, he's one of them sending out this tweet. Facebook is more interested in acting like a Democrat super PAC than a platform for free speech and open debate. If they can ban President Trump, all conservative voices could be next. Now, if you listen to people like that, you would think that Facebook is just a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party. But take a look at the top 10 performing Facebook pages. You will see that all of them are Republicans and conservatives. The only progressive to crash the top 10 is Rachel Maddow. So please, give me a break. Now, also, as you'd expect, opinions on the Trump ban are sharply divided, largely but not entirely on party lines. A new Pew poll shows about half the public say he should be banned. But look at the party splits. Only 11% of Republicans feel the same way, but 8 in 10 Democrats want the Trump off of social media. And I called him the Trump. All right. I'll get into the ethical or the legal and also moving target aspect about who shall decide and where the line is. But Andrew, politically, everybody's saying, including those close to Trump, he has felt the effects of these bans and the inability to message. And the concern from some is, and I know this belies our previous segment, with the fear of Republicans to cross him, at least electeds now, that his power will continue to diminish the longer he goes without a megaphone.
Yeah, I don't really understand why he isn't using a megaphone. He could have. We've been reporting statements of Donald Trump since that ban came down. He somehow gets his message across. I used one in the first segment, and so obviously we can hear from him. He could call
the real-time element.
He could call a press conference and speak to the entire country anytime he wanted to. He hasn't done that. So that's more of his own doing. Meanwhile, this becomes another social issue that Republicans can say becomes an us versus them. Oh, look, the big bad liberal world is out to get us. That tends to play well in Republican circles, but as the numbers showed, it's not playing particularly well beyond it.
There is a concern, reportedly from those close to Trump, though, that out of sight, out of mind to a degree. And again, I know we just said that Kevin McCarthy basically won't take a you-know-what without checking with Trump first. But the thinking is the longer this goes, and this is the calculation of McConnell right now, that there will be a fever that will break within the party, and at least maybe not an ideology, but at least in what would Trump do won't be the first default for all.
I mean, I think it will turn down the volume of his rhetoric a little bit, and it'll reduce the impact a little bit. The QAnoners and the never die Trump supporters, they're going to still listen to everything that he's saying, but he'll lose support little by little around the edges, a little bit more and a little bit more.
To me, it is really fascinating, though, who shall decide and where that line is between free speech and ugly and free speech that's dangerous. And when we come back, I'm going to bring an expert on social media and free speech to get into those very questions about not just those lines, but also whether or not the Facebook Advisory Board made the right call. It might have been the easy call, but was it the right call today? We'll do that after this.
The first 3 months, we saved $4,100.
CarShield saved me over $6,000 in engine repairs.
I saved $4,100 out of pocket.
Amazing, amazing.
Customers everywhere agree. If your car is out of warranty, you need to call CarShield before your car has an expensive breakdown.
Without CarShield,
there was no way that I could afford to get my car fixed.
An engine, transmission, or computer system breakdown could cost you thousands of dollars. But not with CarShield, America's #1 car protection provider.
CarShield saved us $4,000. That was great, right?
Yes, it was.
We're just happy with CarShield. They put a transmission in it and a motor. Who does that?
CarShield makes sure you don't have to pay for expensive car repairs.
The components that we're using are not getting cheaper. So nowadays, coverage is even more important.
CarShield covers most makes and models from 5,000 to 150,000 miles.
It's easy, affordable, and no long-term contracts.
And when customers realize that they're getting a $5,000 job for $100, they're excited. I've had customers who were so happy that they did break down into tears and cry.
We saved over $6,000 on a complete engine rebuild of our truck.
With CarShield, I saved over $3,600. It's a no-brainer.
I never have to worry about being taken advantage of when it comes to car repairs.
It's like having a suit of armor around my car.
Cars will break down, and those breakdowns could cost you thousands unless you call CarShield today and get the protection you deserve.
CarShield saved me in excess of $10,000.
And when you call, you'll also receive at no extra cost roadside assistance, towing services, and rental coverage.
If your car's out of warranty, believe me, you want to have CarShield.
Make the smart choice and protect yourself from sky-high auto repair bills. Call now for a free and instant protection plan quote. It's only a matter of time until repairs are needed. And once your car breaks down, it's too late. Call 800-858-4214, 800-858-4214.
IRS, open up. The IRS is the most feared agency in the country and has the power to seize assets, garnish wages, and even put you in jail for back taxes and unfiled tax returns. Don't be a victim. Call Kick IRS right now and let us kick those IRS problems out of your life once and for all. Our powerful team of tax experts will fight hard for you and will not stop until we've resolved your tax problems on your terms. And if you qualify, we may even reduce or eliminate your tax debt altogether. No more sleepless nights wondering when the IRS is going to come after you. Take control of your tax problems today and make the phone call. We have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau, and we offer a 100% written guarantee, so there's nothing to lose and everything to gain. The consultation is free and the phone call is free. So pick up the phone right now and kick those IRS problems out of your life once and for all.
Call 1-800-719-3527 to get the tax help you need today. Again, that's 1-800-719-3527 or go to kickirstv.com.
Now, before the break, we showed you how the Facebook ban of Donald Trump has been upheld, and we discussed the consequences. In this segment, we're going to talk about whether or not it was the right or the wrong call. And for that, let's bring in our guest, Corinne McSherry. She's a legal director at the Electronic Freedom Foundation. She's kind enough to give us a few minutes. Okay, I know they kind of punted a little bit, 6 months, or if not sooner, they're going to make a more declarative decision. But given the facts they were presented with, did Facebook get it right?
Well, I think what the board decided is that Facebook did get it right. And I think that that was probably the right call. I mean, at least if you look at Facebook's own policies, they essentially have been ignoring, actually, many of their policies when it comes to political leaders or adapting them especially for political leaders like Trump. And essentially what Facebook did is it finally applied them to this particular person. And you know, companies have the right to have whatever moderation policy they want, but when they have that policy, they should follow it. And I think what the board said is that's essentially what Facebook finally did. But what the board's also saying is, Facebook, you need to do this more often. You need to get this right. You need to be consistent and you need to be transparent. And right now you're not being either one.
How do we create a line, if it is even possible, between free speech and dangerous speech? And I guess the first thing we got to clear up is this is not an absolute right. This is a private company. This is a privilege. Now, to that end, I was looking at some of the numbers. Just in terms of not accepting the results of the election and going so much further, there's at least 225 posts that Donald Trump did that had fraudulent claims of victory, baseless allegations of election fraud, delusional narratives of how the results of the election could somehow be changed or manipulated after the fact. Those things were viewed almost 110 million times, reshared more than 7 million times after it. I'm not alone when saying this was really dangerous, culminating with what we saw on January 6th. But Can we figure out where the line is between, hey, speech is free even if unpopular, when you can't say cry fire in a crowded theater? How do we navigate that?
Well, as I think your question suggests, it's not easy actually to do that, especially if you're as big as Facebook and you have literally billions of users posting all the time and you've got to vet all of that content. Really, it's just a thing that is the sad reality is content moderation, really good, accurate content moderation is basically impossible. So let's be realistic about what the situation is. I think that platforms can and do intervene to try to draw the line, but they get it wrong all the time. And the better way to think about this, to my mind, is for us to realize they're going to make mistakes. They're going to get it wrong when they draw those lines. And so they need to be transparent about it. And they need to have ways for people to appeal. And then they can be more comfortable in drawing those lines when we know that there's some backstops. Right now, we don't have any of that.
Corinne, is there a difference with the distinction if it's some lonely guy in his basement putting out some conspiracies about the election being stolen versus a president who has already shown the capacity long before that to literally fire cabinet members via tweet or Facebook post? Does it matter who's doing the threatening?
Well, that's kind of an interesting thing here, because one of the things is that Facebook has this policy of treating political leaders in a special way, as if they don't already have many, many other ways of getting their message out to the world. I'm actually a lot more worried about the people who don't have those opportunities to get their message out to the world. So I think one of the things the decision today does is ask Facebook to focus not on whether you have a political position or not, but rather, are you an influential user? And I think that's actually an appropriate way to tackle this issue.
What about the once bitten, twice shy element, which was how many times had Facebook threatened then President Trump, which, hey, you're getting closer to the line, you're getting closer to the line. And the fact that if they didn't restrict his privileges, not just for that day, but thereafter, he'd do it again because he did it before. How much of pattern should factor into a decision as to restrict or revoke somebody's rights?
Well, to me, the problem actually isn't the pattern, it's the lack of a pattern. And what I mean by that is that Facebook and Twitter and other social media platforms do the same thing, are incredibly inconsistent in how they have these policies, which they have the First Amendment right to do, but they don't apply them in any kind of consistent way. And that means users, whether they're the president of the United States or just a regular person, don't really know how their speech is going to be handled and whether they're going to be able to reach an audience or not. So really what we need from these platforms is, do what you say you're going to do. Be honest about your policies and then apply them in a way so we all have some predictability here. And don't play games with your users either way, no matter who your user is.
For me, I've heard this argued both ways, that nobody debates that Facebook enabled this. They amplified it, and they certainly profited from it. So I'm not crying a river for the box they find themselves in. But have they created something that's impossible to possibly control given the volume of speech that's going on? Or is that just a convenient excuse when you got so much hateful and divisive and false rhetoric on that thing?
So I agree. We do not need to cry a river for basically anyone involved here, including President Trump and certainly Facebook. I think they have created they've put themselves in a very, very difficult position. It is so big. There's so much space on their sites. And they've shown, a whole decade of content moderation, a whole decade of people trying to control the speech on these platforms has shown they're not capable of doing it. And maybe we should stop asking them to.
Interesting. Hardly the last time we're going to have this debate. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Take care.
You too. When we come back, everyone, we're going to head to D.C. And I'm going to be speaking with good friend ABC News political director Rick Klein about the drama in the GOP, Biden's ambitious plans for his next 100 days, and a whole lot more.
Villains, robbers, bandits, crooks, they're all over your TV screen. But the biggest thieves are behind your screen. I'm talking about the cable companies. They charge monthly subscriptions, fees, rentals, and force you to take long-term contracts. Well, it's time to say goodbye to the cable guy. because now you can watch 4K Ultra HD broadcast TV for free. Introducing Clear TV's new 4K Ultra HD design, the Premium HD. Just plug it into your TV and start watching for free. You will instantly receive top-rated network shows, local news and weather, sporting events, and even Ultra HD 4K broadcast shows, all for free. Thanks to federal government mandate, all broadcasters are required to transmit a digital TV signal through the airwaves. The new Premium Clear TV lets you bypass cable or satellite to bring network and 4K broadcast shows directly to your television. Retract the antenna to keep it small or extend them for maximum reception.
Setup was so easy. I took my Clear TV antenna, plugged it into the back of the TV, and now I can watch my favorite broadcast channels anywhere in the house for free.
We're just off the coast here in the Gulf of Mexico receiving free network broadcast HD TV. Imagine all the free shows you'll receive at home.
Basic cable and satellite services can cost you up to $80 a month. That's $960 a year and almost $10,000 over a 10-year period. Watch TV in as many rooms as you like with no additional monthly fees. Stop spending money you don't have to spend. Call or go online now and get your premium Clear TV 4K Ultra HD antenna for only $19.95. It's backed by our 60-day money-back guarantee. Order now and you can add a second Clear TV free. Just pay separate processing and handling. That's a $40 value for only $19.95.
I can't believe I get all these channels for free. Plus 4K Ultra HD, Clear TV is for real.
After an auto accident, insurance companies will fight hard to avoid paying you. At Vocate Legal, we believe in fighting smarter. We know how insurance companies think, and that's why we use our experience-based strategy to outsmart them. Our accomplished attorneys have the knowledge, skills, and track record to pursue better legal outcomes at no upfront cost to you. Call us today or visit vocate.com for a free consultation.
Vocate Legal, fight smarter.
We may not always agree on everything. This is one thing people across the political spectrum can agree on. So I want to thank prominent conservatives like Mitch McConnell and a large group of Republican members of Congress who've medical training, who have advanced getting vaccinated.
President Biden continuing to urge Americans to get the vaccine, and he's evoking the guys across the aisle to help. The president's also trying to work with Republicans on his $2 trillion infrastructure plan, but so far, the counteroffers are just a fraction of what Biden and team want. Also, the president's unveiled his American Families Plan. It expands access to child care, college, and much more. It aims to firmly lift up the middle class. And those Americans striving to get there are also beneficiaries. Now, Republicans, they're blasting it, and they're calling it socialism. But the public, they don't see it that way. According to a new poll, nearly 2/3 of Americans support the things identified in this plan. So joining us now to discuss those topics, plus more, including the rift in the Republican Party growing by the day, ABC News political director, Rick Klein. Rick, as it relates to Liz Cheney, what's happened in that we had a silent vote, it wasn't even close. She's basically maintained her position, but now it seems there's an inevitability she's going to be on the wrong side of the vote for leadership the next time, maybe as soon as next week. What's happened in the interim?
Yeah, I think it's over for her, and I think she probably realizes it. She's barely trying to keep the job at this point. She recognizes that things have turned. It's not Liz Cheney who's changed. In the last couple of months, she's been consistent that anyone who says that the election was stolen is lying to the American people, and she stood up against that. She stood for impeachment. What she's done is continue to answer questions by saying that she doesn't think Trump has a role in the party, and what's changed is the attitude that other Republicans have toward her. There was, after January 6th, the sense that, okay, maybe they do need to distance themselves from Trump, and then there was a sense of, okay, maybe we can have a kind of a quiet peace with people who think that. Now there doesn't seem to be any room in the Republican Party for people who will say what is the truth, that the election was not stolen. You have to toe the Trump MAGA line in the party right now to retain a place of influence. That's the clear takeaway from the likely successful ouster bid that's going on in the House.
Has it struck you at all curious that Mitch McConnell's gone radio silent on this, given how public he was after the impeachment vote?
Yeah, I mean, he was asked about it by reporters in Kentucky just today, and he said that's a matter for the House, but he did acknowledge that there's a real problem with people that say the truth about the election, that it gets you in some political hot water. He went on to say that he's 100% focused on stopping this administration, which, of course, the White House isn't happy about. They say they're focused on stopping the pandemic. But, yes, Mitch McConnell has really not come to anyone's defense in this. Mitt Romney is the only prominent Republican who has said anything publicly about Liz Cheney, to my knowledge. And, of course, he was booed by activists at his own state party convention over the weekend, so we know where he stands vis-a-vis the party grassroots.
Speaking of the vaccine, it was obvious President Biden took really more of a carrot than a stick approach for those with hesitancy for the vaccine. Are they comfortable where the numbers are? Obviously, they'd want more people to be vaccinated. I get that. But do they think that they can open up safely, or are they really concerned we're not going to get to the herd immunity number or close to it, and consequently they're going to have to deal with this thing all over again in a few months?
I think they're worried about the numbers as they stand now, but mostly worried that it gets harder and harder with every additional person that you convince to get them to take the shot. The easy ones are out of the way. Basically, we're at a stage where any American adult in the country that wants a shot can get a shot pretty quickly, pretty easily. That's getting easier and faster all the time. Now it comes to vaccine hesitant, and they're the least likely people to listen to government directives, especially if it's Joe Biden or Anthony Fauci who's offering them. So I don't think there's significant concern about a whole new wave when you've got as much immunity as you do via these vaccinations, but actually stamping out the virus, making it to a point where you can get back to life 100% as normal, it does require more immunizations, more vaccinations than we've had so far. And again, it's just harder and harder to get the additional people to reach them. We've got the administration changing strategies, but by their nature, they're just the people that are going to be less likely to be listening to anything the government has to say.
Rick, we always talk politics, but I know you follow history. This American Families Plan, and I know people have been bombarded with big ideas, but when you dig into it, it could be historic. I mean, you really got to go back to the New Deal about a reimagining of what government could do for a family. And sure, there's legitimate debates about price tags, who's paying for it, how, et cetera, and forget about even the prospects of passage. But it strikes me that if this ever became law in Maine of the idea, it would change entirely American families, or many of them, across this country.
Yeah, it is a reinvention and a reimagining of what government can do. And the broader play is that the country's ready for it right now, that they've seen what government that can do, the good that it can do. When you line up and get those shots and see National Guardsmen helping you, and it was the government programs that helped you along the way, that maybe people say, okay, we need more government assistance. We need more of a lending hand. That's a paradigm shift. Reagan famously talked about the government being the problem. Even Bill Clinton said the era of big government is over. This could bring big government back in a major way if it's enacted.
It strikes me that if it did, we'd be having this conversation 5 years from now like the ACA. People all of a sudden say, wait a minute, I got help with my child care. I got universal pre-K for my kid. I've got community college when my kid's going away here, that they're going to help me pay for all these things. Is there a concern politically that if this ever sees the light of the day, this is going to be like Social Security or Medicare? Well, you'll never get rid of it.
Definitely, you hear that from Republicans, that once you install something and make it something that they depend on government for, that it's hard to take it away. Same thing with tax cuts when they're pushed by the other party. They're hard to roll back, as the Democrats are finding now. The Trump tax cuts, once people expect them, it's hard to just take that away from people that expect that. But yes, anytime you see an expansion, it's much less likely and much more less common in American history that you have something the government starts to do that it stops doing. That's one of the concerns about the encroaching power of government that libertarians and conservatives have. But of course, if you're a Democrat who believes in this moment and thinks like Joe Biden does about the historic nature of the moment, you want to see that.
Last question, this as well as also the infrastructure. What are the odds they get through? And if they do, are they, half a loaf here of the proposal? What are you hearing?
Well, they don't have the votes right now. If they had the votes, then prospects would be different. They wouldn't be talking about the need to bring Republicans in. There are conversations, though, that are happening that are bipartisan. The other West Virginia Senator, Shelley Moore Capito, part of that with the White House. I do think there's a possibility, but it would mean taking down significantly what the top-line numbers are in that bill. And it's not clear yet that Joe Biden is willing to do that trade-off.
Rick, I always appreciate a few minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And up next, some good news at the border for a change. We're going to show you a happy family reunion as kids who were split from their families by the Trump administration are now, just now, seeing their parents for the first time in years.
This is a national healthcare alert from the 24/7 Diabetic Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one has diabetes, listen closely. Now, regardless of your age, if you have insurance, you may qualify to receive diabetic testing supplies with little to no out-of-pocket cost. Get free delivery, free information, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers for free. Call the 24/7 Diabetic Health Hotline now for details. Toll free at this number. But wait, there's more. If you call right now, you could get a meter upgrade. In addition, we'll give you a free pair of diabetic socks as our special gift to you. Regardless of your age, if you suffer with diabetes and have insurance, you may qualify to get free delivery of your supplies. Call now. We can help.
Call 1-800-972-0451. 1-800-972-0451. That's 1-800-972-0451. Call now.
Need life insurance? SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And SelectQuote found his wife Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
Our secret? At SelectQuote, we aggressively comparison shop up to 10 highly rated companies to find you the company with the best rates. Why pay more? Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
I struggled to stand for a shower, and after falling in the tub, I felt it was only a matter of time before I broke a hip.
If you worry about the risk of an accidental fall getting in or out of the bath, could a walk-in tub be right for you? Search Consumer Affairs Walk-in Tubs to find great deals, like a free shower package upgrade.
Once you turn 60, you have to realize there are limitations, whether you want to admit it or not. My walk-in tub has helped me to continue to enjoy a much better quality of life.
Why decide between a walk-in tub or shower when you could have both? Call now and we'll upgrade your new Safe Step walk-in tub purchase with our exclusive free shower package.
My husband said walk-in tubs are for old people, but I was more interested in feeling young and staying in the game. That's why I recommend a walk-in tub to everyone.
Call 800-993-2023. That's 800-993-2023. 800-993-2023. Call now.
Welcome back. On this program, we speak quite a bit about the situation at the border, especially how the previous administration, the Trump team, had that zero tolerance policy, and they intentionally, not accidentally, intentionally split up families, even when infants were involved. They admitted they did this all as supposed to deterrent to keep people from coming here. Now the Biden administration is finally locating parents who were deported and reuniting them with their children. This is the moment Sandra Ortiz sees her son Brian in person for the first time in more than 3 years. And this is their very first hug. It's all happening at the very same California port of entry where they and thousands of other families just like theirs were forcibly separated under the Trump administration's policy aimed at deterring illegal immigration. Sandra, who fled Mexico in the face of threats from cartels, was deported without her son. Brian, just 15 at the time, first sent to a shelter, then to live with older siblings in California. Now, they're together again. Family members there carrying signs saying the wait was worth it, I love you.
It feels like a dream. Like I was in the car and I was just like, this is finally happening. And I'm really gonna be reunified with her after all these times.
They're the first family to be reunited under the Biden administration. This video taken by advocates who helped organize the reunion. In some cases, it's taken years to locate parents in Mexico and Central America. The Biden White House says the Trump administration left them with little to no information about many of the families. To this day, there are still more than 400 children whose parents have yet to be located. Brian, an AP student, graduated high school a year early, speaks English now. That day, he had only a few minutes to say goodbye to his mom, being told they would never see each other again. He's dreamed of this day.
I was talking to her on the phone and everything, but still not making sure, like seeing her in person, being able to give her a hug and everything. It was just...
Does it feel like a dream?
Yes, it actually
End of a
really
nightmare?
does. Yes.
And tomorrow, we'll speak with a key player in the family separation saga. I'm talking about Lee Garland. He's from the ACLU. He has been at the forefront of the effort to locate these kids who were taken away from their parents, and he's also the lead attorney who is suing the government. That is tomorrow right here on RFL at 6 p.m. Eastern. When we come back, the jury swiftly convicted Derek Chauvin of murder, but now the defense team wants a retrial as it questions the fairness of the jury who made that very decision. The very latest after this break.
8 years ago, my daughter called to say she was expecting our first grandchild. But I never actually heard her say that. And the first time my granddaughter called me Papa, I didn't hear that one either. Can you imagine? Oh, I know I lost some of my hearing, but I was embarrassed, too stubborn to admit that. For Father's Day a few years ago, Gina and Ryan bought me a nano hearing aid. And my precious Ryan, I love hearing her call me Papa. I love hearing everything again.
What if you not heard by not wearing a hearing aid? You're going to have many more special moments in your life. Don't miss hearing a single one of them. Call Nano. Order your full pair of hearing aids for only $297.
1-800-259-1401.
Make today the day you finally start hearing better again with nano hearing aids.
1-800-259-1401. 1-800-259-1401.
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for dental visits. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for transportation to my doctor. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay to have my prescriptions delivered directly to my home. Did you?
These and more are important benefits some Medicare Advantage plans may give you. So if you're eligible for Medicare, call us right now because you may be eligible to enroll in a plan with amazing additional benefits. Some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for services like these: dental visits, vision coverage, hearing coverage, home delivery of drugs, even gym memberships. Some plans may include no copays for many services and 0 deductibles. Don't wait to find out if you're eligible to enroll in a plan that may include some of these wonderful benefits you deserve. Call us right now. The call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation. Make this free call now to learn if you're eligible to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that may include additional benefits you want. Call us right now.
This is important news for people who took certain drugs for HIV and then suffered serious injury to their kidneys or bones. If you or a loved one took Truvada, Variad, Atroplus, Stribild, or Complera and were then diagnosed with kidney disease, kidney failure, bone fractures, bone density loss, or softening of the bones, call Davis & Crump right now to see if you're eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Our first consultation is free and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call Davis & Crump right now. Operators are standing by.
And we're going to wrap up tonight's program with some news about the Derek Chauvin trial, the former Minneapolis police officer convicted of murder for killing George Floyd. Chauvin's attorney, he just filed a motion for a retrial, citing several grounds, including jury misconduct. Convicted murderer Derek Chauvin, hoping to change his fate, asking for another chance in the courtroom. His legal team requesting a new trial, saying the former Minneapolis police officer found guilty in George Floyd's death did not get a fair trial, citing multiple grounds, including alleged jury misconduct. Though juror Brandon Mitchell wasn't specifically named, this comes as some are questioning his impartiality. Mitchell defending this photo circulating online. He's wearing a Black Lives Matter hat and t-shirt with a picture of MLK Jr. that says, "Get your knee off our necks." He told the Star Tribune his uncle posted the photo last August after attending the March on Washington to commemorate King and his I Have a Dream speech, and that he did not view it as a march for George Floyd or against police brutality. Mitchell reportedly disclosed his attendance at that march and his support for Black Lives Matter on his jury questionnaire form.
Black Lives Matter is just a statement. People of black, pigment, their lives matter.
Chauvin's defense attorney also claiming media attention prevented a fair trial. But Mitchell says that had no influence on the jury's decision, which was based on the evidence presented at trial.
We were really just locked in on the case. And then with so much stress coming from the case, I mean, those things are so secondary because you're literally, throughout the trial, you're watching somebody die on a daily basis. So that stress alone is enough to take your mind away from whatever's going on outside of the four walls of the courtroom.
and will continue to follow the case. That is going to do it for us tonight. Thank you, as always, for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you Thursday.
Has your AC busted, computer crashed, appliance broken? Then you need ARW, American Residential Warranty.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
Home appliance repairs and replacement can cause stress and cost you over $3,000 per year. But starting at less than $1 a day, ARW has home warranty plans that cover household appliances, systems, and electronics. Parts and labor included.
When I needed ARW, they were there. My oven actually took a dive in the middle of making a big dinner for family and friends, picked up the phone, called ARW, they repaired it, dinner saved, that easy.
My air conditioning broke on a Sunday. I called ARW and they came out and fixed it right away.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, even pools and spas, and so much more. All you have to do is call or go to getahomeplan.com. Plus, ARW's partnered with Asurion to offer protection for all your new and used household electronics for just one low price.
I dropped my laptop and ARW replaced it with a brand new one, and all I paid was a small service fee.
All plans are fully customizable and come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and get a home security system valued at $1,250 free with any plan. And you can trust ARW to be there when you need it. Just call ARW and a licensed technician will be dispatched to your home. All covered repairs are guaranteed.
My